Hey there, okay, we're at video number 72, but this will be video 34 of module 3. And I'm kind of feeling that I'm getting to the point now where I'm kind of really explaining the same things over and over and over. But I'm hoping that you will see that every single indicator is not always the same. It does have, you might see one indicator give you a signal where another one won't. And one is right and the other one didn't really pick it up. It's because it didn't pick it up because it's a different indicator. It uses different settings to pinpoint where you can go long and short and stuff and what have you. So again, this all comes down to your own personal reference. So I hope these are okay so far. Alright, but this particular one right here, what we're going to be looking at is the areas that we're going to be focused on are where the iMACD crosses over. Okay, and we need to take a look at these two levels here. Well, the first level is the 0.7 and the other one is a 0.3, which is there by default. Now I've put one in there for 0.5. This is like a midway point, and the midway point I put in there to try and get away from the noise that happens down the bottom. Alright, we should hopefully know that anything that's in the upper territory is overbought and it's soon to drop, and anything in the lower territory is oversold and the market is soon to rise. Okay, so I want to get away from that kind of noise and I just want to focus on the middle part as my gauge, but I'm going to use it as a block. Okay, and wherever this line appears based on when a signal appears, I'm going to be using this block as my kind of go-between signal to say, okay, this is fine, now I can go in on that signal. Alright, so for instance, I'm looking for an area, and let's say for a buy trade. Now what I want to do is line it up as close as I can to this point here. Again, you're going to have some points where you can't always match it up, it just won't lock into place. So find one that you can lock into place as long as it's within that area, and then you can go ahead and lock that in. Now what we're looking for, this one didn't actually lock in perfectly, so we would have to go in with one bar to the left or one bar to the right within our allowance area. Alright, so if we went to one bar more to our right, that would have qualified. This one here is kind of like really iffy, it doesn't sit on there perfectly. Alright, but one bar within is still a good grace leniency area that you can use to do your buy trades. Now here is the buy trade opportunity right here. This one marks off, so that's okay. Alright, so there's your buy. Then we're going to be looking for a sell trade opportunity. So here is a sell trade opportunity. This could have actually appeared anywhere where it crossed over first. The first crossover is there, then it crosses back over again, and it crosses there again. I think it actually crosses about 3 times, you might find. Alright, and here is the area that we want to sell within, and we can see that the lines are actually within that sell box. Alright, now let's take a look where they aren't really lining up. Okay, let's see if we can. This is for a buy trade opportunity. That one works as sell, so that's okay. And I'm just trying, let me just pause for the moment. Okay, I was just wanting to take a look really at some of the other areas and to see if there were a time where when we used the crossovers, here's for example, I wanted to know if there was a time anywhere that this line didn't actually fall inside that square box from this line to this line. Okay, and it doesn't really seem to be an area that actually gives us that mark to do that. This one looks pretty cool. I like this one. See, this is another thing that I like to see as well. Let's see if I can do this and show this as an example. See what here, this is where it actually crosses, and you see where this DeMarker line is, it kind of reaches the midpoint there. Okay, let's get the other one out and show you this buy trade opportunity. Oops, let's take. I keep putting in the wrong area. Let's put it on the top window. Alright, just there we go. And this one, I have to kind of give or take within 1 or 2 bars. It doesn't sit in there exactly, but there's a little bit of a lenience in there. But if I gave lenience to this one, which doesn't need it because it does actually fit quite perfectly. So the cross here, you can see that the DeMarker line actually touches the middle line at the same point when we gave ourselves like a 1 bar allowance on this one. If we gave ourselves a 1 bar allowance on this one, you can see that the DeMarker is over here, and the distance and how far it moved was, you know, a considerable amount more on this particular strategy. This particular setup moved a lot more than this particular setup, all because of that right there. But also take note as well, you will see that the distance and how far away this moved away from the vertical scale is a lot closer than this one, because that's where it is there. Okay, that's where the vertical scale is, right here. So it didn't move that much, so there was more room, more power behind it. So we need to try and take a look at some other areas in the market, you know, that would actually ring off true like that. Here is possibly another area which is another right bang on, if 1 bar allowance, and eventually, yes, I mean, it goes sideways for a little bit, but eventually it just goes up. So there is a bit of power behind that one as well. We could have also used the iMACD breakout, and you could have said to yourself, okay, well, I'm not happy with this right now because we're sitting, you know, on a resistance level. So you might go ahead and incorporate the iMACD breakout, and when you see the iMACD breakout, it breaks out right around about here, and then you can go long right there. It actually goes long right after that resistance level, and boom, up it goes. Alright, how you would go ahead and monitor your TPs again will be like previous highs and what have you, or previous lows, depending on which way you're going in. But for the most part, I mean, you can see that, you know, when you see these line up perfectly fine, then it's, you know, a pretty good area to get in on the market. Alright, so see, I mean, here's one around about here. This looks like it lines up a fair old bit. Alright, but it doesn't go up a considerable amount. It does hit the top of that resistance for a fair old while, and that's like 108 pips. It doesn't look like it's moving up that much really, just because it depends on where I've got my chart moved. Alright, but here it actually hits the top part of the support and resistance line here. So I mean, again, it's all completely up to you, but you can see where, you know, the breakout appears. So yeah, give that a try, see how you get on. Alright, it's a pretty simple strategy. You know, they're basically just like the last couple that we've had. The rules are pretty simple, and see how you get on with that one. Alright, so until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.